All right, this is part 2 of Chapter 8, examining the project object. And we're going to continue on and looking at the project object. But to recap, what I had talked about in the first video is how we manage the traditional soil surveys using the project object. And specifically the fact that the MLRA Soil Survey Office area and the non-MLRA Soil Survey Office are populated. The non-MLRA Soil Survey area symbols are for the traditional soil surveys. This will be the only time that this banner is populated. And then you see the map units and all the map units that are linked from the map unit table. So now what I want to do is I want to bring in some other projects. And I want to bring in projects to show the difference from the traditional to the modern. I've got a query here that uses the project by area project map unit by MLRA Soil Survey area symbol. And that is this particular MLRA Soil Survey Office area symbol that I'm going to be using. I'm going to run this particular query against the national database. I'm going to select the project because I want to see all the projects that are available. You'll notice it's going to download everything, and I'm going to choose 5-SAL. That is the symbol that I want to pull the projects on. And I'm going to run this, and we're going to see the results of this after it's finished. Okay, after the query has been run, you'll notice that we've got all this stuff, all these projects under national. And I've got the one local, which is the traditional. So I'm going to go ahead and accept the results of that query. And it'll continue to download data. And then you'll notice that everything once again changes to local. And then we've got 143 projects, 877 map units, 809 data map units, and you'll see got quite a bit of data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to run that query against the local database. And because the only thing in my database is 5-SAL, I could put in 5-SAL, or I could put it in an asterisk and just load everything up. And so this is what I'm loading. And now I can come back over to the project table, and I'm going to minimize my Explorer panel. And now you can see what it looks like with quite a bit of data in here. All right. Remember I told you that the user project ID is brand new to NASIS 6.3, and because it is, the conversion logic for populating this required field is the record ID number, and so you'll see that record ID number. Guidance will be forthcoming on the process of populating that particular table. It'll be similar to the user PET-ON ID and user site ID. And then we've got the project name. I'm going to expand the name here so that you can see a lot of these are the SDJR. And so you can see that there's quite a few of the different projects by map unit that are being worked on in this particular office. We have a description field, and that description field is a field that allows you to populate information about that particular project, give us a sense of what the project is about. Then we've got the approved field. It's either checked yes or left unchecked no. And you'll notice the difference between a updated project and a traditional project, because the update projects do not have the non-MLRA soil survey area populated. And then, of course, as I scroll across, you'll notice also that none of the legacy fields are populated for the updates. So that makes your life pretty easy as far as what needs to be populated for all these updates. And unfortunately, I didn't have a really good presentation on a variety of the projects, but all of you are aware, or should be aware, that we've got ecological site projects that are identified as ES. And we've got MLRA projects that are more intensive field projects. And then we've also got these soil data join recorrelations that are essentially the evaluation and assessment of the map units for that particular MLRA. So we've got a variety of projects. Regardless of the point, they all get entered into NASIS. So this should give you a sense of how these are managed in the NASIS database. So now let's take a look at some of the child tables on these, because they are slightly different than what you saw in a traditional soil survey. I opened up this Turon Carway Complex. It is an approved project. And here are the map units that are associated with that. Now you'll notice this map unit type. And what we've done in the map unit type in the map unit table is allowed you to designate whether the particular map unit is what type of map unit that particular one is. Okay, I'm going to show you another feature I showed in a previous video. I'm going to highlight these particular records. And since I have these records in my local database, I'm going to load these selected records. I want to load the map units. And there's the 5 records. And we're going to come over here and I'm going to highlight and check out these particular records. And once again, remember I'm using a beta version, so I have access to everything. So don't want Joe in Cleveland and y'all to freak out on me. Now then, I did this because I wanted to show you this particular map unit type. And so these with the lower record ID numbers are the non-MLRA soil survey area, the original map units. And then the one with the highest record number is the one that is the MLRA map unit. And previously in FY13, we would have identified this map unit using the sequence number of 500. And what we've now with NASIS 6.3 allowed you to do to be able to identify that particular MLRA map unit. So now that when I come over here and I look at the project, these should have all been highlighted. Let me close this out. And there they are. So now you see that I've got identified that particular map unit that is the MLRA map unit, and then those map units that are the non-MLRA. And hopefully this is going to help you guys in the future as you start bringing in these traditional soil map units and adding into it these MLRA map units. It'll give you a better sense of which map unit is which. I know that was one of the major concerns of everybody through the first year of the soil data join recorrelation. Now, the project correlation table, it was a legacy from the traditional soil surveys where we put all of our correlation notes. The data need is also a legacy where we put in information about the particular imagery that we may have needed. Project Ecological Site is a brand new table as a child table, and what this will allow you to do is to come in here. I'm going to check this particular one out and insert a record in the Project Ecological Site table. This was developed for the Ecological Site projects, and we can now come in here and choose a particular ecological site that this project will be associated with. If this was an ecological site project, this is how you would identify the actual ecological site associated with this project, and then be able to then record and manage your project ecological site projects. Our field reviews, once again, essentially a legacy from historicals, and if you look at any of the historical traditional ones, you'll see the project review notes. The land category breakdown is where we go in and identify all the various breakdowns of land categories that we report, and it is the child table of land category breakdown where we go in and identify the progress reporting dates. And your choices are initial and update, be it a NRCS or cooperator. And then don't forget to put in your username. This is critical, and this is one of the cases where this should have been done because our reports, most of our reports require that a name be recorded in order for the acres to be assigned. So be very careful about making sure that the project staff, and where does that come from? That comes from the project staff table. Make sure that you populate the project staff with all of those people who will be involved with that particular project in some sense or need of what their time and resources are necessary. And so that's where you'll see this choice list be derived from. It's derived from the project staff table. The mapping goal table, once again, we need a person, and we need whether this is, how is the goal assigned? Is it initial or is it update? Initial is only be for the traditional projects. If it's not a traditional soil survey project and it's an MLRA SDJR ecological site, then it's considered an update in our CS acres. Project milestones, pretty much every one of pretty much if you're dealing with SDJR, you've got an assigned set of 14 different, actually 15 different milestones that we populate. If you've got ecological site, I believe there's 17 milestones that are assigned for ecological sites. MLRA projects do not have an assigned set because just the nature of the MLRA ones, you need to be able to identify specific issues on those particular types of projects, and so they don't have any assigned set. And then the product was historically used for the traditionals. We've carried it over. You can see that in this particular SDJR project, they've assigned it as a web publication, and it was delivered to the web on 10/31 when it's scheduled. I explained the staff, and then the final thing is the text. If there's any text notes that you want to appear in here, this is where they would go. So that's a basic synopsis of the way we've got everything set up between the traditionals and the update type of work. And remember, we've got the NASIS user guide as a fallback. We've also got chapter 14 of the NASIS user guide that goes into specifics. So use either one of those as background information on for this video on how to populate this database. If you've got any questions, you know you can IM me, or you can email me, or you can pick up the phone and call me. So this ends the chapter 8, examining the project object.